Hello and welcome to this commentary playthrough where I'll be playing through the Dead Ops Arcade 3 Rise of the Mamaback game mode in Zombies. To start it, you press the map icon in the top left and switch over to Private, Dead Ops Arcade Solo. So the first Dead Ops Arcade game came out in 2010 with the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 1. A sequel was made 5 years after that for Black Ops 3. And here we are again, 5 years later with Dead Ops Arcade 3. I'll let you guys watch the intro cutscene here. So we'll start off here in round 1 with the DUA text in the sand. Always a key spawn guaranteed on round 1. And on solo, you'll have this crab be talking to you.
That key be worth a king's ransom.
There's quite a few different lines, but actually we're going to quickly change off these floating numbers. Get them out of here. For some reason, your settings reset each time you load up the game. And loading up the game is quite frequent when it's crashing every time I go to check the leaderboards. So, basically, when you watch the intro cutscene, it's by far the longest cutscene for DUA 2. Probably an extra minute longer than the DUA 2 cutscene. The basic story is each DUA game you're fighting a Silverback, and the first one is the Cosmic Silverback. Then it was the Cyber Silverback, his brother, in the second game, and now we have the mother of the Silverback clan, a Mamaback. And they just won't leave you and your chicken alone. They always have to go retrieve their family pet, the chicken, called Fido, or in this game, Fidolina, I guess. So, first arena in each of these 3 games is the Island Arena, as you can see. This Island Arena is very visually similar to, I would say, Dead Ops Arcade 2. The canoe is in the bottom left in this view, just like DUA 2 was. And it just, graphically, I wouldn't say it's too much of an improvement compared to going from DUA 1 to DUA 2. There's actually a little Easter egg we'll see here in the bottom left. If you can see, if I zoom in all the way, text that reads King, which is the last name of the lead developer for this game mode, David King. Follow him on Twitter, at JuggaJugga, G-U-G-G-A. So round 3 we'll have the Tortuga here in the middle, and nothing really. Yeah, one whale of a Tortuga. That's right, Mr. Krabs. And also the first person drop returning from the second Dead Ops game. A bit loud here in first person for some reason. A bit of an audio imbalance, but hopefully it's not too annoying. So when you're in first person, you can actually jump and also slide. And it's also worth keeping an eye in the top left part of your screen, the player HUD, where the soldier statue where your lives are, just above the 3 for me. it'll actually turn red in this game when you're damaged. So you'll see when you're damaged in first person. Also later in the game there are certain enemies that might damage you and not kill you in one hit. So when that comes up I'll be sure to mention it. And also for this round we have a 10 tier block and movement a bit. You'll also notice on this playthrough, on this version of Island, on this game, you can actually go quite deep into this bridge, unlike the previous two games. The previous two games you would usually be limited at this point and not go any further than that. So round 4 will trigger an in-game cutscene with the Mamaback destroying the teleporter. I'll let you guys take a look at this. So there's pretty standard gameplay on Island. There's not really any reason to be dying. I'll pull up the scoreboard real quick, showing your score, kills, deaths, and gems on the top. And in the bottom it shows you some of the controls, how to use equipment, nukes and boosts. And for co-op you could donate lives, doesn't apply for solo. You can pull up the world map by pressing down on the D-pad to see all the arenas, 16 arenas, just like DOA 2, 64 levels. And also flashlight and cameras, which aren't exactly applicable at the time. Flashlight you need to find. It's not really worth finding in my opinion. And right now we're entering an area called the Wild, which is quite new for DOA. It's sort of an open world exploration type level. And there's actually some benefits we'll be seeing from being here in the Wild. Worth noting that you could change your camera. I would recommend playing on camera high typically. You can also flip your camera in the Wild, but I would say on the default view just to not confuse your teammates, or if you're watching a tutorial it'll be easier to follow along if you have the same view. So over here on the left we'll have a hidden room that you can open with a key. I would not advise using the key to open this area, but it does have the flashlight and the mech vehicle. But in my opinion, not worth it since keys are pretty valuable on this game. So over here we have a key on this platform. We can actually lower that platform by standing on the stepping stone. And sometimes I have trouble getting out solo because you need to use a speed boost. So hopefully I don't have any issues with that right now. Let's try to line it up. Alright, got it first try luckily. On co-op you would just have a teammate stand there and obtain it much easier. So over here we're going to come up on some stones that you got to be careful of, or excuse me, some spikes that could kill you. I'm going to zoom in and show you. They raise up. You sort of have a bit of a warning. You'll see some sparkles on the ground as they're about to rise. Just take your time with it. There's no reason to rush. I'm going to push up here and shoot these spawns a bit. These spawns will be weaker for solo games. If you're playing a 4-player, you'll notice they'll take a few more bullets naturally since you have more players. Also an arcade machine here. There's a few random spawns. I'll hit it right here, which will take me to a bonus area called Silverback Slideways.
Bonus area.
Just make sure you don't go left here because it'll actually take you out of the room, which is not exactly ideal. If you end up dying here, which is quite possible, you're not going to lose your lives or your score multiplier, so don't sweat that. The only thing that would happen is it would count as a death on the in-game scoreboard. So right there I got hit. As you can see, my top left HUD soldier is covered mostly in red. I'll slowly regen that health over time, as another fireball just about now would kill me. As such, I have spikes and flames and flowers all over the place. So right there, as you can see, I didn't lose a life, but a death is registered on the scoreboard, if you care about such a thing. So a lot of stuff here is just treasure and gems that you could collect, although there are a couple of free lives. I picked one up earlier in the challenge, and also some equipment, such as a nuke, which could be pretty helpful. could also crouch on this challenge. Right there, it's a nice little flinger launching me into the flogger. Maybe try to speed run to the top and get a nuke. Although that's not looking too likely at this point. Okay, this is not going very well. But that's fine. You'll notice at about 6 seconds it'll kick me out of this room. Which is a bug currently with this challenge. Alright, whatever. Not much there. I could have got maybe a nuke and things could have looked a bit better, but overall I'm not too disappointed as I didn't lose anything of value there. There's only things that you could gain there. There's nothing really to lose, so. And actually picking up that arcade machine will make it a recurrent power-up later in the game, which is very helpful. In the early build of the game, there was a bug where the arcade machine would glitch your game out. Fortunately, that was fixed. So feel free to pick up the item if you see it. So right now you could exit the wild via this teleporter. I'm going to chill here for a second. Like I said, there are some advantages to staying in here and exploring it fully, which I'll show shortly. Always got to be vigilant for key spawns, as keys are very helpful at this juncture in the game. And again, you could take a few hits here in first person and also regenerate health. I'm going to enter this dungeon right here, the first dungeon in the game. Sometimes you'll get a key spawn. Right here we got a free life. And I guess I'll explore it a bit. Most of these dungeons are pretty similar in layout. They're also randomly generated in terms of the what rooms you encounter. But once you explore one dungeon, I would say you more or less explore them all, as they all share a pretty similar pattern. Again, you could change your camera view and also flip your camera while in the dungeon. Gonna be here, waiting here patiently. Pretty spikes. Over here we got the Nosferatu enemy from Dead of the Night and Black Ops 4. I find these enemies to be quite annoying, although I don't think they one-hit you. They could damage you though. They're gonna push that, hope for a nice spawn here. Nothing really too good except these barrels, which I could use. Basically you want to try concentrating your fire on one spawn at a time and lessen the spawns by killing the zombie head model associated with those spawns. So over here, if you look at your mini-map in the top left, you can actually see sort of an octagonal type room that I'm approaching. Sometimes there's a chance of a Margwa in these types of rooms, which protects a stone which has a fate, so definitely be on the lookout for that if you're playing a game. That means you've gotten quite lucky and could get an early fate, at least in this build of the game. I made a video on that as well if you would like to know more about it. So there's more area of this dungeon that I didn't explore, but for the sake of this video, I think I'm just going to progress since I'm here at the exit. Again, there's a chance that maybe the mark was on the other side of this dungeon, but it's a pretty low chance, and I've explored about half of this dungeon, so I think it's safe to assume that maybe I'm good to go. You could open some of these chests and they have gold and things like that. Some of the chests do require keys, which I'm not really trying to spend. The keys should not be spent on chests typically. Excuse me. Timestamps are going to be in the video description, so if you want to skip around past this wild, definitely feel free to do that and go to other arenas or challenge rounds, etc. So we're going to make our way over here, east, where we'll have a zombie spawn real quick. We're going to enter this room over here to the side, which will take us to a bonus area called the Abandoned Temple, where you could collect on 4 speed boosts.
You do not belong here.
I'm right now I have 1 nuke, so I'm going to drop a nuke, run into this enemy, and this one too. I'll actually have my nuke replenished when I leave this area, so that's very helpful. So I'm opening these boxes, I'm just double checking the button prompt to make sure that I'm not spending a key on these chest items, because sometimes it can be a bit deceiving. Someone call up you a step on this stepping stone, and it gives you a text. That's a text message that says 2 paths open, and basically 2 doors will appear at the top, and if you go, it's a 50-50 chance. Sometimes you get something good, like a few nukes, a few speed boosts, a few extra lives. Or the worst case scenario is you pick the wrong door and it takes a few of your equipment away and also resets your score multiplier to 0. Or, excuse me, 1. To go over here, use this key that I have, one of my keys, to open this door. This is a possible arcade machine power spawning location as well. Also, the arcade machine can spawn in immediately as soon as you enter the wild, like sort of behind you. Now, there's 2 paths you could take here. One of them here is with the 2 wardens. I'm going to avoid that area. It usually doesn't have anything too good. I'm going to open this one instead. Some spikes here, just be careful. Spikes will kill you in first person in 1 hit. Ooh, fireballs. Up ahead we got the Perseus enemy from Ancient Evil. I'm gonna run by him. Ooh, spikes. So I'm gonna exit first person, actually, and enter this bonus area called Dark Crypt? Yeah, Dark Crypt. Gonna be some spiders down here, just be careful, take your time. This area is mostly just for collecting gold. There's nothing usually too good here. Okay, I died by something. Not quite sure what. That must have been some sort of skeleton, or maybe a spider that I didn't see. Luckily there's a lot of gold here, so I can sort of recoup my losses from that death there. Alright. Those chests down there require a key, so I'm not even going to bother. Not worth it. The keys I need to save mostly for opening doors at this point. So this guy will sometimes get glitched at the door and just start hitting you immediately, just like get your way out of there if that happens. So I'll try to make my way here. I have a bunch of hits on me while I'm starting the first person, which is a bit unfortunate. So back here there's usually just like little crates that you could open. And a lot of gladiators that like to stand still. There's also always a rare chance that some sort of key appears in one of these boxes, to my understanding, so it's always worth checking, I think. Alright, did I check over here? I believe I did. I'm going to change my camera view because it actually gets reset when you leave bonus areas. Sometimes this flogger is a bit glitched out. I might end up using a piece of armory just because this guy's closing in on me. Shoot this zombie spawn real quick. Gotta take another death here, it looks like. Yeah. I could have used a speed boost there. I knew I was most likely gonna die. At this point, I'm going to save my speed boost just because I'll be able to get my lives back quite easily. I'm going to check up here. I think sometimes there's some sort of item you could find here. Maybe not. Alright, so over here we have a room called, a bonus room called Kaboom room.
Bonus room.
Now the good thing about this room is that it becomes a recurring bonus room, sort of like the Abandoned Templar room and the Arcade Challenge, Silverback Slideways. And also a new quality of life feature for Dead Ops Arcade 3 is you can't run into Armory if you're already maxed out in that department. Which is very helpful for co-op, because usually an issue would be that you would run into a nuke when you already had 9, and then your teammate wouldn't get it, of course. So right here is not really necessary to go down for solo, but I'm going to show you for the sake of co-op, is you might want to step on this stepping stone over here, which brings down this lift that I'm shooting at right now, and you could collect the first person. It's not really that important, just something figured to let you guys know about. So sometimes this flogger glitches out and kills you. Luckily, the RNG is in my favor, I guess. As you can see, there are 5 chickens to the left of me, guaranteed to always be there. So if you're looking for the FAL 5-piece trophy, that's a way to get it. Also, the Abandoned Temple usually has 5 chickens, which was a tactic that I showed for my video, just because it's usually quicker to do that. Now I'm going to enter a deadly dungeon, the second one in the game. And again, unfortunately, no key spawn here, but we'll take a quick look here. Try to see what's going on. Maybe we get a lucky Margwa spawn. I'm sort of looking for octagonal type rooms in the mini map. Not seeing anything so far, but I'll have to take a look. Usually, it's less likely that you'll find a Margwa on solo, because there are fewer rooms that spawn in for solo compared to 4-player. And even on 4-player, the chances are pretty low. I believe it's something around 7% chance that you encounter a Margwa in a specific dungeon. So right here we got a hexagonal type room, but it's not the one we're looking for. Usually it'll be a circle once you get to the room, rather than just this type of structure. And I have a bunch of fireballs being launched at me. Very nice. The minimap is definitely helpful to use. This room, I don't even want to bother going in because you're going to have to take a death going through the lava or burn a piece of armory. So I'm not going to really waste my time or arsenal trying to get a few pieces of silver. Because typically these chests and some of these sort of cases or crates that you open, they usually are pretty cheap in what they give you. And even if they do give you a lot of treasure, it's very minuscule to your score multiplier. So right there, already one hit. Okay, I ran into the second fireball. So at this point, I'm not seeing anything too appealing on the mini-map, so I'm just going to exit this dungeon real quick. You can take your time if you want, collect every little piece of treasure, open all the chests, but really, you're probably going to leave there with a 3 times multiplier at best, so I'm not going to bother wasting any more time there. So right here, you're very slow in the river, but if you ride along the edge like I am right now, and then go up this little lip here, you can actually take a little shortcut. Go through here. Now I'm going to see an elephant here and a bunch of dog spawns, most likely. The elephant, I can see a shadow, I believe, to the top right. He's shooting fire at me. That's always nice. So I'm going to try running past him, and there's going to be some vehicles that he tries blowing up. Also, you could shoot these vehicles with your gun, so definitely avoid doing that. So hop in one with X. You could drive it and also boost with the A button on Xbox, or equivalent for PlayStation. Usually back here you'll find a nuke and some other stuff like that. First person drop right there and a nuke right up ahead. I'm not going to bother with that. Instead I'm going to drive straight ahead and open this. There's going to be another elephant here, so I'm just rushing it. Opening this with a key. Getting by there. Getting the heck out of there. And collecting this treasure in this room. So right now I'm looking for some key luck. Alright. And I'll explain more in a bit why. But I'm going to need some lucky keys here. A couple of spikes in this room as well, so always be vigilant for spikes. They're not going to surprise you too much in the sense that they're not going to spawn in certain areas or certain rooms, but over here you will see them in this vicinity. So up here is a possible key spawn where I'm standing. Unfortunately, nothing there for me this game. You grab 3 death machines, which automatically takes me to purple. You can see in your HUD there's an AK-47 type weapon. Slowly depleting, it's purple, it'll become red, and then it'll become the base version of the gun. A very similar upgrade system to Dead Ops Arcade 2, if anybody's played that. So here you'll have anywhere from 1 to 4 wardens, in my experience. They're a bit tanky, but if you take those weapons in the left, you should be able to drop them pretty quickly. And over here, you could sort of get a little glimpse of what's in this room over here. So I see a free life and a key, so definitely worth it for me to go grab that here in a bit. But first, I'm going to collect this gold and then drop down this little hole by me, which will take me to a 3rd deadly dungeon. Again, no key, but we'll continue on. So I was under the impression when I made my video on a round 5, or deadly dungeon fade obtaining, that you couldn't get it on this particular dungeon, but I've been hearing reports that you can in fact do so. So something to keep in mind if the game continues to be like this in the terms that you could get in terms of getting a fate in a deadly dungeon, which remains to be seen, I guess, in the future. Right now I have a lantern on me where I must have picked it up this arena, this deadly dungeon, which just sort of illuminates things a bit, makes it easier to see. Again, not necessary, but no harm in picking it up if you see it. Luckily the zombies just stood still there and saved my oh, what is this? I think I just picked up a key, which was blinking away quite fast. Also, something I seem to notice is that the music that plays on this game seems to vary, which I'm not exactly the biggest fan of. On DOA 1 and 2, the music was always very set, right? The first arena would be a certain song, second arena would be this, you know, it wouldn't change the game to game, which I think is a bit unfortunate here. I think you could even customize it where you could have your own music player track with the Cold War songs that play in game on a rotation. Also, right now I have my graphic content reduced, so not a lot of blood on the screen. Also, if you shoot zombies, they just sort of disappear and vanish rather than, you know, like I said, leaving behind a bunch of blood. It's just a preferred way of playing DOA throughout the years. Less junk clutter on my screen makes it easier to see, in my opinion. I'm gonna go up there. I see that there's a square structure. It's possible there's a mark respawn up ahead further, but I don't think it's too likely. So at this point, I'm gonna take a detour over here, and I saw the escape ladder here in the bottom left, so I'm gonna take that here in a moment. So again, I saw a key down here. I'm gonna leave one booster for a bit. Actually, I'm gonna leave it there. Gonna progress normally through here. Hopefully I don't get too many fireballs thrown at me. Okay, I already got hit once. And again. Now you could actually go through the lava here and up this ramp. Could save that speed boost for this trick that I'm about to do. Now, there's going to be possible keys in the top right here. There's going to be a warden spawn that's static over here. You're always going to see him. He sort of gets glitched out. You could kill him quite easily. Also a first person drop. Now, this trick I have some trouble with sometimes. You got to take some spring pads, which is a bit of a pain. But it looks like a free man and at least one key potentially. Maybe more, sometimes it's not all visible. So I collected on that stuff. Now I'm gonna use, I could go down there, take a death, be reset to the back. Instead I'm gonna boost, jump pad, boost, and that is not what I was planning to do. But I'm gonna exit and actually save myself. So right now I have 3 keys, which is actually really beneficial. You could go underneath these dragon heads, by the way, to avoid damage. I'm going to use one of the keys to open this door here. Going to collect on some of these goodies. And I'm going to use another key to open this door. There's a warden behind this, so just be careful. I guess I'll just shoot him. Okay, he's dead. And at this point, I have 1 key left, which is actually really good, because all I need is 1 key to feed to the altar at the top of this volcano. If you don't know what I mean by that, I'll explain it here more in a bit. But essentially, around 20, if you progress naturally and take the teleporter at the beginning of the wild that I was showing off earlier in the video, normally you would reach this area, this volcano area, after round 20. That's the natural progression, and I'm making no leeway with these skeletons right now. Something has to be done, surely. I'll just drop a bomb. So, round 20 is the normal progression for the Room of Fate, but doing all the stuff that I've done on the Wild is a shortcut that you could do to get here earlier. And by getting to this Room of Fate here on round 5, essentially, you're not able actually to go to the Wild after round 20 or even after round 36 as is natural. Apparently you could go through these without dying. It might be patched in the future, so I would say just wait, take your time. Up here we can see 1 free life. On co-op you would have a teammate stand here, and the other teammates would go to the top and lift you up to collect those free lives. Sometimes there's 1 life, sometimes there's 2, sometimes 0, so it just sort of depends on luck. But usually you'll have at least 1, in my experience. I think my electric orbs actually were deflecting some of these fireballs, so never mind. Spoke too soon. So up here we have the elite zombie from the Machina. He's pretty tanky, but once you kill him he splits into 2 different sort of acid type zombies, which I believe are also in the Machina. Over here we have skeletons from, initially I guess they were in Horizon Draha, but I think these skeletons in particular, if I had to guess, are from Ancient Evil, the model of the skeletons from Ancient Evil. Again, you could go underneath these dragons, but your vision's going to be obscured, and there'll be a warden usually that attacks you as your vision is obscured as you pass by that underpass. You also got to make sure you don't fall down the volcano. Right there, I got slightly close. It wasn't too much of a concern, but these Nova Crawlers will actually drop some gas, some Nova gas of theirs, and it could slow you down if you walk over them. It has the opposite effect for zombies. If zombies run over Nova gas, they actually speed up quite a bit. I don't know if that's going to be addressed in a future update. It might be tuned a bit to be a bit more balanced, but as of now, they will run at you at psychomaniacal recluse speed. So there are skeletons in the Dead Ops Arcade 2 mode. They were actually included in DOA 2 before the Horizon Draha even released. Of course made for the zombies map, but the skeletons were slightly different in DOA 2. Actually a nuke down there, so I'm going to kill that quickly with a nuke and collect on this nuke. I do know that the boxing gloves will deflect the fireballs here, unlike perhaps those electric orbs, unless I just use them incorrectly. You could kill the warden quickly with the boxing gloves. Again, take your time here, you don't want to die by spikes. I have a Nova Crawler spawn up ahead. You could make your way down, but there's not really anything too useful there, so I'm not going to waste my time doing that. Okay, that spawn is dead. I'm going to collect on this free life, max out an arsenal at this point. Before I mentioned the stepping stone to collect the free lives, right over here. Do a step on it and it would elevate your teammate. Then once they're ready to go back down, you would let go of it. So I'm going to explain what this blue altar is here in a moment. But first I'm going to step into the 4th and final deadly dungeon.
Knock him out!
And again, I'm going to quickly sort of take a look through this dungeon for a potential Margwa spawn, because this is my final chance to get one since this is the final dungeon. Up here I'm going to rush the Nosferatu spawn because these guys are a big pain. I'm going to try to eliminate them real quick. Also, I want to make sure that I'm not accidentally using my one key on a box that requires a key. That would be quite detrimental at this point in the game. So over there, I'm not going to go there. It's a square room and a dead end. I'm avoiding that area. Make our way this way. Again, I'm not really seeing anything too promising on the mini-map here. Again, a bunch of boxes here. I want to be careful and make sure I'm not opening anything that requires a key. Luckily, everything here is good to open. I actually just got a key from one of those, so quite helpful, as you can tell, to sometimes open these and just hope you get some good luck with key spawns. So up there are some unexplored areas. On the minimap, you can tell which areas are explored. It'll be sort of a darker blue if it's an unexplored part of the dungeon. But you could also tell if it's a dead end or a room that's not really worth exploring based on the shape of it. So I'm just going to skip over on that room and try to make my way to the exit. Which should be down here if I hook a left. These floggers will typically trigger once you get close to them, so just don't try to beat it, just take your time. Bunch of zombies here. I'm probably just going to use a speed boost. I could immediately hit the exit, but I kind of want to shoot those crates down there. Maybe something decent is in there. I already eliminated one of the zombie spawns. I might as well finish this one off too. Okay. I suppose we're good to go. Exit the dungeon. Unfortunately, no luck with the Margwas, but not the end of the world. So over here, I was talking about this blue altar. This is sort of a new feature for DUA where it says hold to pay tribute and reveal the true fates. Based on that sentence, you could probably imagine what that means. It'll reveal some sort of distinguishable pattern for the fates, sort of like DUA 2. The stones had certain shapes and sizes and markings that differentiated, let's say, the feet from the firepower. If you watched my DUA 2 guide on that a couple of years ago. So this will do a very similar thing, except The stones on round 20 currently are bugged out. They don't spawn in very correctly. Long technical explanation for that I won't bother going into. But if you do the shortcut here on round 5, the pattern will actually be accurate. But players at this point haven't figured out every single location for a stone, since there are 6 fates, and also only 4 of the stones will appear. So there are going to be 2 random fates in my game right now that aren't even going to be eligible to be picked up. So if I want to run a game with the Furious Feet, or the Firepower in this game, there's a small chance that those 2 fates are omitted from this Room of Fate. I believe that's going to change in the future to where all 6 stones are going to be present. But even then, there's an issue here where, let's say the Furious Feet has a certain shape in the bottom left corner, it could actually be rotated as well. So it's sort of a lot of different shapes and rotations to keep in mind. So that's going to be one pretty tricky whenever it is discovered, all the stones, to sort of make that in a digestible form. So anyways, I'm going to press X to pay tribute. On solo and 2-player games, you only got to feed 1 key into this blue altar. If you're playing a 3-player or 4-player, you're going to have to feed it 2 keys. If you only feed it 1 key in a 3-player or 4-player, it'll reveal the stone characteristics for just one of the fates. So one of the random 4 fates will have markings while the other ones do not. But if you're playing a 4-player game and fed it 2 keys rather, all the stones would have defining characteristics. So the unfortunate thing is, if I get a bad fate here, I'm probably going to restart. I could get to round 64 with a less than optimal fate, which is the purpose of this video. But really, I want to get a pretty good fate, something like a Furious Feat, for the sake of demonstrating how to play the game with probably the best fate, which is defeat. Again, you can rotate your camera here to view it easier when the volcano is blocking you. But the thing is, it also will mess up the Room of Fate if you forget to rotate back. So I'm just going to make sure I'm playing on the default view. It'll be like if you're playing co-op and you have a different view than your teammate. The stone in the top left would technically be the stone in the top right for him, or something like that. So here we have the werewolf from Dead of the Night. I used the nuke because it looked like he was about to launch at me and kill me. Sometimes it's helpful to backtrack. He has a healing animation that he's doing right now where he'll spawn a Spectral Hound and gain some health. These Spectral Hounds will kill you in 1 hit, so important to kill them. Right now he seems kind of glitched out where he's just stuck on the side there. And constantly doing his healing animation, which is fine because he's not attacking me. So I'll let him keep doing that. I'm killing him faster than he's regaining health. That should be the end of him. Once you defeat the werewolf, you'll be eligible to open this little purple area. Magic barrier. So again, when you're entering the Room of Fate, it's important to make sure that this hole is facing the bottom right rather than the top left, just to make sure you're on the default view and not getting confused with, whenever there is a Room of Fate guide being released. Also worth noting, you shouldn't jump down there. That's sort of a beginner's trap. I'm just going to quickly pull up some photos of a couple of the stones that I know at this point, just to increase my odds of getting the feat if it is in the room. Yeah, I should be good. It's sort of a crapshoot at this point. Hopefully, I don't mess it up.
Room of Fate. Touch a stone. Dare you face your destiny?
So I don't think that's the feat. Right there, I'm not too sure. It might be the feat. I don't think that's the feat. And that's a small gem. Small thing. But to be honest, I'm going to pause here and just double check. Which is not the most optimal thing to do, but it's smart. On solo, you could pause. I'm just going to take a guess at this point and say that it's here at the bottom left. Okay, so that did work out well. Hopefully you didn't mind the pause there.
Swift like the wind. You have been judged. Your fate has been decided.
So that was a long way to get to round 5 here, but we got the first challenge round of the game, called a Junkyard Gladiator School, with the gladiators from the map 9 and Black Ops 4. I actually quite enjoyed that map. Also, the crab is still here on solo, giving you some tips. Could go between these two spike areas, actually. Also, right here, there's an area you could go through, and so can zombies, so keep that in mind. In between the two cars. These gladiators will have sort of throw their axe at you, and also they can leap at you with a ranged attack, which is a bit unique for the UA. Or at least until you see some of the later enemies, which are a bit similar. I'm just going to exit first person. At this point, there's not too many advantages in first person like there were in DOA 2, other than the fact that some people might prefer it, might find it more fun, or also sometimes it's helpful because if you're about to be trapped, you could exit and have brief invincibility ring around you. Sometimes you might have an unfortunate death to these gladiators, so it's always important to keep moving. Keep it on the move for DOA 3. But otherwise, there's not really any excuse to be dying at this level. This early level. Especially since I already have a fate. Worth noting that the Fury's feat makes me move approximately 50% faster than default. Also, I get 2 speed boosts at the start of a round if I have 2 or fewer at the end of the previous round. So right now I have 8 speed boosts. I'm not going to be given any extra speed boosts because I'm already at 8. Also, a new feature with DOA 3 is at the end of the round it shows you how many more rounds there are in Arena for the first time ever. I never thought that was really a necessary addition, but I suppose for newer players they might not know exactly how the arena system works. Of course, every 4 rounds you are taken to a new arena. Also, some text boxes appear in this game. As you saw, my character says "Sweet Dreams" with a small voiceover type line over it. Not the biggest fan of that, as sometimes those voiceover lines catch you off guard and scare you. Some of them sound quite, you're playing a co-op game and they sound a bit detrimental, like your teammate died or something. But really your teammate earned a life or picked up some sort of item. And also the text boxes are a bit, they could obscure your vision a bit. I wish they were maybe a bit semi-transparent or something along those lines. Or maybe you could even toggle them off in the settings. That would be preferable, I think. So at the end of each arena, you'll have the Silverback trail appear, showing your progression. Right now we're about to enter another challenge round called Barely Making It. A pun, since there are barrels here. You'll remember on Dead Ops Arcade 1 there was a challenge round called Fish in a Barrel. Barrels there function a little bit differently, where they just sort of fell over from the roof. And they were only specific to that arena. Over here, they're carried on zombies' shoulders and will become recurring enemies throughout the entire rest of the game. The crab, once again, here. Hopefully the poor fellow doesn't get blown up to smithereens by these barrels. I'm grabbing a present box, which usually has a detrimental item in them, so hopefully we'll see what happens there. Might have been spiders. That's a pretty common thing that happens. Yep, spiders. I'm going to exit and just run into them. So the present box is sort of unique, I think, for DOA, in that it's the first item where something bad could happen. Something intentionally bad could happen from picking it up. Such as spiders hatching from the present box. But sometimes you'll get a free life or a nuke, so it's a matter of risk versus reward, and usually you want to try to get that reward. So over here you see a little teleporter pad of sorts. Basically stand over it and it'll upgrade your weapon slowly over time to red power or purple power if you stand there long enough. The skull upgrade system from DOA 2 didn't carry over, but that little teleporter pad is the closest thing to a skull upgrade system, I would say, other than picking up duplicates of the same weapon. It even has like the little red skull on the teleporter pad if you closely examine it in first person mode. Over here I picked up a magnet, which was an item in Dead Ops Arcade 2 as well. In this game, the little whirlwind that surrounds you is a bit more visually intrusive.
Them gorillas make me feel as lily-livered as a bilge rat.
I'll have to drop a nuke right here, make sure I don't die. At this point I could take a death. I have 9 lives. If you're playing and you're less experienced, you might want to sort of prioritize your equipment and lives a bit more balanced, where you know you're about to earn a life, you might take a death, etc. But here, it's an early round. I feel confident that I can maintain my armory while also using a few pieces.
Follow them arrows to see where they go.
Also, there's only one arrow at the end of each round, which is different. Previous DOA games, they would sometimes give you several arrows, which led people to thinking that there was a way of predicting bonus rooms, which, frankly, I don't think anybody ever came to some sort of conclusion with that. A lot of theories, but nothing concrete. But here they give you one arrow, so the idea of predicting bonus rooms seems a bit
A new wingman
thrown out the window at this point. Over here we have some boxing gloves from Dead Ops Arcade 2. Also, I guess the asset might be from Shadows of Evil, and also multiplayer for Black Ops 3.
Full of the finest swag.
So basically, the boxing gloves you could just spin around quite easily and you won't die, unless an axe is thrown at you or some of the special enemies later on just don't care about your boxing gloves. But right now, it's safe to just spin around. I'm gonna pick up this present box, see what we get. A chicken egg. Okay, chicken eggs in this game, they were in DOA 2 as well, but they're pretty weak in this game. But luckily, it's the end of the round, so we'll wait for it to hatch, and it won't be harmed since there's no zombie spawns. I guess while we wait for it to hatch, we'll look around the map a bit. Some nice lighting in these dark rounds. The fourth and final round of each arena is dark, and there is some interesting lighting, I think, in this game. The game does look visually pretty, I would say, as the rounds progress. So the chicken sort of hatched one singular gem. And the previous DOA 1, for instance, this would bump your score multiplier up quite a bit. But if you look at mine right now, I have about 4.5. It's a little gold bar to the right of my score. 4.5, I grab it, and it's mostly just the same. So the gems are very minuscule on Dead Ops Arcade 3. So now we're on this new arena. It looks a bit like the starting room in Die Rise from Black Ops 2, if any of you played that. Where the area I'm shooting is like the elevator shaft. You open this door over here, but it might just be a bit coincidental. So currently in the current build of the game, there's no item spawns that appear on this map other than... Oop, this guy launched for me quite a bit. There's no item spawns other than weapons and treasure. I'm sure that'll be addressed in a future update. But this arena and the following one are a bit bugged out, I guess, where non-weapon items do not spawn currently. But again, I'm sure that'll be changed some point soon. Over here, there's a drop-off ledge you could jump down. Also, you'll notice that the pathing of the zombies is a bit odd in this game, especially on co-op. But even on solo, there's a thing in this game called anticipation logic. I think I spoke about it earlier in the wild. It's more prevalent in the wild intentionally, but it still exists on these regular rounds, where the zombies will sort of anticipate your movement at times. A lot of people always ask me for tips and tricks on Dead Ops Arcade, especially more recently with DUA 3 coming out. But it's always been something they've asked me about throughout the years. And it's always difficult to offer one concrete tip. It's a very ooh, can't say that word. You gotta improvise in this game quite a bit. I'm not gonna attempt for a third time and fail, so I'll just leave it at that. You gotta improvise quite a bit in this game and always make moves on the fly, right? It's not exactly like a regular zombies map where there might be a set strategy that works and very few variations come up. This, I would say, is a lot more freestyle-y, where zombie spawns are always different. When a gladiator might come out of the door is always different. What items you're given are different, right? So the amount of electric poles, where they're placed on the map, how many are placed on the map. But there's always a lot of more variables, I feel like, with DUA. And it's difficult to say, you know, run like this, or run like that, or avoid pulling that move. Because people just, you know, they don't have time to react very quickly if they're not experienced. You know, it's something that you can't learn overnight. You need to really practice and absorb other people's gameplay. So if you're watching this video, you know, that's you're taking one step, I guess, towards getting better. Same way I got better. I started playing the game many years ago for Dead Ops Arcade 1. I wasn't very good at the game. I probably died around 13 my first time playing it with some friends. But, you know, slowly you get better. You watch gameplay on YouTube. And it was even harder back then. You know, fewer people uploaded. People who did upload, they had very poor potato quality. Nowadays, you have people streaming on Twitch almost at every point. In addition to a whole slew of gameplay VOD. Video on demand on YouTube. So definitely use that to your advantage. See how people are playing certain arenas, the movements they make, how they react to certain situations. It's much easier to observe it than for me to say, okay, now I'm going to loop around the zombies here. Get cut off by a gladiator. A looper, I'm going to get stuck doing this move. Yeah. So that's a pretty tough arena, so if you're sort of a newcomer and you lose a couple lives there, don't be too surprised. You just got to get the feel for it mostly. So now we got a challenge round. They come from below. This is basically a rehash of the arena from Dead Ops Arcade 2. Graveyard Arena. The challenge round was called Dirt Nap in that game, if you recall. So here they'll spawn really slow in the beginning. They also have a ground spawn in the middle of the map, a little circular area in the middle. They'll be very slow for these first couple waves, and then they'll speed up towards the end, as you'll see eventually. So the strategy here is pretty simple for these slow waves. You just sort of, you could mostly just shoot your way through. Like right now, oh no, I'm surrounded. Well, you could just shoot them here and get through. And as I said that, I almost got annihilated by a crawler. So this next wave that spawns from the ground, the third wave, is going to be a bit faster. Not too fast, so I got the Furious Feet, I could outrun them quite easily. Again, be careful of this middle spawn, they're spawning from the middle. This anticipation logic is surely going to be the death of me at some point. You see, like, I juke this way, and they follow me like that, you know. So I'll stand on this upgrade teleporter bit, that might be helpful. I should probably get a speed increase from being in red gun, just like DUA 2, but I don't know for sure if that's a thing in this game. In case you didn't know, in Dead Ops Arcade 2, if you had a red weapon, it would be 5% faster, purple weapon 10% faster, so I imagine that feature was carried over here, but I'd have to take a closer look at it. Alright, now we're going to have the final spawn. As you can see, they're cracked out of their mind, very fast zombies. But fortunately, grouped them up quite easily. drop this explosive, making too many crawlers, not killing them quick enough for my liking. Collect this gold and make our way. Hopefully we'll get a bonus room here to just replenish our armory a bit.
Bonus room.
So right here we got a bonus room, Poppy's Pirate Plunder. Bunch of gold and stuff you can collect for an easy life. You'll notice there's a timer at the top, 50 seconds. It'll kick you out of the bonus room at the end of that duration. You won't die, but it'll kick you out. And you have the option of using a key to unlock this chest. It's not really worth it in this bonus room, so I wouldn't bother doing that. You'll also notice a dog on the wall, a portrait, a pug. This is actually the dog, the dog of the creator of the game. His dog, forever immortalized in Poppy's Pirate Plunder. And I imagine Poppy is the name of the dog as well. But I can't confirm that. And now this Gladiator is sort of glitched out where he's just full on sprinting at me rather than trying to lunge at me. They're also getting stuck in that top door, which sometimes happens. You might want to leave them there, make it a little easier for yourself for a few seconds. But usually they'll unglitch themselves and come back into the playing area. So the strategy on this arena is mostly pretty simple, I would say. It's a pretty wide open map, pretty early level at this point to where you could plow your way through certain areas. The Mamaback sometimes comes out at the end of the round. Will chase you. Just go through the door real quick. Usually if you run her around for a bit, she'll eventually leave and leave you alone. So now we have a bonus room called Weston's Trading Post. And the name... Weston's Crazy Deals, indeed. So you have some max ammos here. Some other goodies here. Electric orbs, a magnet. A present box. This present box is pretty helpful if you have a key later on. It'll usually give you a couple of free lives, so definitely utilize that. The announcer just said ride the lightning when I grabbed the electric orbs, which seems like a Metallica reference. Their album Ride the Lightning from the 80s. This game, you know, very 80s themed, Cold War. Also, before we leave this bonus room, worth noting, more dogs in the walls. Worth noting that Weston is the name of the son of a DUA player, a very legendary DUA 1 player called Be Like Fritz, who had his own little shout out in DUA 2, but this time his son, who I've played with before. Very good player for his age. Some people like playing with the floating damage numbers on their game, as you go shoot into a spawn and see if there's any floating damage numbers which would indicate they're spawning from there. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm more of a traditionalist. I like to just have the screen as clean as possible. So it's a matter of personal preference and what you enjoy. Gonna drop a nuke there. I have some more armory after that bonus room I just hit, so might as well use one. Have a nice 4x score multiplier. There's really no advantage to holding a multiplier when you're at 9 lives, other than the fact that you want to accumulate a nice high score. Ooh, that zombie was just chilling there. Wasn't paying close enough attention. I think he sort of stood still for a second over here where I'm standing. Sometimes you lose concentration for a moment, and you'll die faster than a bullet. But it's important to take a death. You regain your marbles and collect your gems. And go back at it. Right now, the recording of this video, it's pretty early into the game's release. Game's been out for less than a week, so I might not be playing the most optimally, right? The game might also be updated quite a bit afterwards, after this video is released. So certain things on this game, my game right now, might seem different than yours if you're, let's say, playing 7 months from now and watching this video. So we have a challenge round Smoke and Ruin, very similar map layout and enemies as the challenge round called Shadow Boogie and DevOps Arcade 2. I think both of them also appeared on round 17 on both of these games. These enemies were featured in the Black Ops 3 campaign. Gonna grab a mech vehicle, which was a vehicle in DevOps Arcade 2 as well. You'll notice that it's a bit faster in this game. Currently there's a bit of a glitch sometimes where you die when exiting a vehicle, which was also an issue DUA 2 had for a long time. But I imagine at some point it should be addressed. So whenever I exit this vehicle, ooh, a gold egg spawned, which hatches a life. I don't really need it, so I'm not going to protect it. But if you are playing, you definitely want to protect it. It has pretty low health on this game. But whenever I exit this vehicle, I'm going to drop down this hole in the middle. It looks like a couple of goodies are in there. I don't know. Oop, I'm going to drop in real quick. Adjust my camera view. I think there was a chicken, evidently, and also possibly a speed boost I might have picked up. So this arena is pretty small, but I would say a lot of DUA 1 arenas were very square maps, I would call them, like this. Although a bit bigger than this one. But the strategy here, I think, is pretty simple. You just sort of loop them around quite easily and utilize the drops that are given to you. Ooh, almost ran into that. I had to do some sort of slight juke move that could have cost me, but I think it helped prevent me from getting hit. Also, when the axe ricochets off the wall, it could hit you on the way back. Got an arcade machine power up here, actually, which will sort of have a similar effect as the electric orbs and shock zombies in nearby area. New item for DevOps Arcade. Nice little sound effects as well that I haven't really listened to too closely before. I think this power up lasts 30 seconds or so, so it's very helpful. And so far what I've noticed is, if you pick up one of these arcade machines, on the following round, you'll have the Silverback Slideways challenge, which is very helpful because there are usually two free lives and a couple pieces of armor you could collect on during that challenge. And it seems like this item is pretty common, so potentially, you know, a little overpowered potentially of an item if you think about it. But we'll see how that plays out rather. Take a quick little look down here.
Bonus area.
There we go, Silverback Slideways as I anticipated. So there are 3 different versions of this Slideways thing. 2 daytime ones and 1 nighttime one. Utilize these jump pads to the best of your ability. I didn't play very well in my first playthrough earlier this match. Gonna wait for that firebolt to disappear. So right now I don't need any free lives, so I'm not going to really go look for them. I guess it would be helpful to show them if I can find them. Although I am on the lookout for a nuke. Ooh, a key that I missed. I'm actually going to go back and get that key. I didn't know it's there. You can see right there, I'm like sort of shooting at it. Gonna try to get it. You shoot that skull back there, zombie head skull, you can actually get some points. Do that real quick. I gotta go all the way back? Oh, I probably can't even go back now that I think about it. That's quite unfortunate. Well, I guess I'll be missing out on that key. A lesson learned there. Free life right here, I'll pick up. As I was saying earlier, I think I interrupted myself. Got a nuke right there as well, some spikes you gotta be careful of. I'm playing this when the game is less than a week old. So I would say I'm pretty decent at the game right now, but again, a few months from now I'm gonna be significantly better. Now whether that's because the game gets easier through patches, but also just more experience, right? You realize certain strategies sometimes that aren't evident during the first week. So right there, I could have went to the end and finished it, but there's no real reason to do that. I got my nuke. Seemingly, I wasn't going to be able to pick up that key unless, you know, I haven't figured out how to get back up there after missing it. But I was just sort of chilling there. No real reason to go all the way to the finish line. Picked up a sprinkler, which shoots little blue explosives type thing. Kind of like the one that the Mamaback throws in the round 4 in-game cinematic on the island arena. She blows up the teleporter. I think it's the same asset, but I could be mistaken. Monkey Bomb has a nice little jingle in this game. Although if you stand next to it, you won't be protected. Zombies could hit you. Got a present box power up down here in the bottom right. Getting ready for some spiders potentially. Yep. Right there's 2 gladiators and spiders. I should have just used the nuke. I was full armory. No real reason to die there. Down here we'll have a vortex item, which gives you gems when zombies are sucked into it. Unfortunately, no zombies. I'll hit it, go through the next round. Quite possible it stays there and gets me a couple of gems. Yep, it's still there. If they spawn from its top, I'll get a couple of gems. No lucky top spawn, so no gems. So these barrels kill zombies if you hit them directly with the barrels. So sort of a timing sort of thing with it. Kind of like they function the same way on DUA 2. On DUA 1 they were quite different though, where they were directional. They would kill zombies here to my right and to my left. But DUA 2 and 3 rather, you gotta hit them with the actual barrels in order to kill them. Teddy bear, another item that's appeared in each of the DUA games. Pretty helpful in this game. Except when you get someone throwing an axe at you. Use the speed boost to avoid dying by that. Down here we have a clock, a grandfather clock. You pick it up and it's a slow-mo, as we call it. Force field is another name. On DUA 2 it was a drop as well, signified by a clock, it's more of a round clock. I think it's the asset from the Giant, the Black Ops 3 map, the Giant, where it's a clock on the map. Right there. Nice little escape. I was about to use the nuke, but a path sort of presented itself at the last second. So in this game, there's a lot more going on. Just all these gladiators throwing stuff at you, and it's definitely very, I would say, challenging for newcomers. I could see them having trouble with this compared to the previous 2 games, especially. I had a much needed sip of water right there. My horse was getting my voice was getting quite hoarse. At that point, we got a challenge round called Afterlife. These guys are from Black Ops 4 map Blood of the Dead. They sort of cause some visual particles to appear on your screen, which I think are quite annoying. If you, you know, make sure you don't have a seizure here watching this. Make sure I don't have one. If you stand still here in the middle, it's not the best strategy because they'll actually spawn on you and potentially kill you. So it is helpful to keep moving, even though it may seem that standing in the middle is the best option. And again, I have boxing gloves. I'm just going to spin. I have a free nuke on the map. If I stand over it, it's not going to give it to me. So what we do is we do something called the nuke for nuke program, right? You have 9, you could use one, bam, you pick it up. So you'll notice also that this is the same level geometry, same arena as the Room of Fate, just different lighting. Some areas where you sort of semi-swim in as well. So this is kind of my first time playing a solo at this round, so it is sort of, you know, I've played quite a few co-op games at this point, but not a solo. So not that I anticipate running into too much of an issue, but I am sort of, let's say, learning how to run properly on the fly here. And right there, my barrel usage wasn't very optimal. A situation like that, there's no reason for me not to use a nuke. It's just, sometimes you have an item and you feel like you gotta use it, right? Like, you have a barrel or something and you're like, oh, I can't afford to use armory. Or take a death when I have this, so, you know, I gotta somehow make the most of it and make an escape while I have it. Which is not always the wisest decision. Right here we're looking at a potential nuke, just to be safe. Also worth noting in this game, if you have 0 nukes at the end of a round, you'll be bumped up to 1 on the following round. Not useful for me right now, I have a bunch of nukes. But might be something worth keeping in mind in your games. Same thing with the speed boost, although that was always a feature with both the UA 1 and 2. In regard to the speed boost specifically. So this arena could be tricky in the sense that there are certain areas where you think you could maybe go up a staircase or something, but you do sort of get stuck on some invisible barriers. That's an arena I've noticed with a problem I've noticed with a few of these arenas, actually, is finding out where the geometry starts and ends. And right here we got a tank. Gonna grab that. You can actually adjust your camera angle in a tank. Which I don't think is the case with a mech. I'll have to retry that a bit later. The vehicles in this game I'm not too impressed with in terms of their functionality. I feel like they can't kill as many zombies as quickly as previous games. Controls are a bit wonky compared to the older games as well. Vehicle specifically. movement system is very... It's pretty fluid. It's very similar, I would say, to DUA 2. Although it is a little less forgiving in terms of the way that the zombies path, and also sometimes you try making an escape, let's call it, right? Like a gap you try hitting, and it feels like it's a little more unforgiving in this game, where you die in situations where maybe a DUA 2 you would have escaped without being hit. But again, it might just be a result of not having too much experience at this point in the game's life cycle. So right here we got the final round of the arena. Nice lighting, I would say. Also first person item pickup. Statues on the map. So when you enter first person mode, you have about 10 seconds of invincibility ring. It's not too apparent, because in DUA 2 there was a nice sound effect that would accompany you when you entered first person mode. Here you sort of just gotta have a guesstimate of when your ring is about to expire when you enter first person. Another thing about first person in this game is that you're not granted sort of a grace period after getting a hit from a zombie. So in DUA 2 in first person, you could get hit once, and then you won't get hit again for like another second or something like that. Whereas in this game, you could hypothetically get triple, quad hit, and downed within an instant. Which makes sense. And then sometimes you also try exit in first person when you're about to get trapped, but they just kill you way before you can hit the button. Also, ooh, very loud. I'm gonna drop that. Also in DUA 2, oh right there, I just ran into another first person mode. It would have been optimal for me to exit this, refresh my first person, get some new rings, and grab that first person, rather than just run into it, as I did. Also, not a good idea to run into it on co-op, because that means your teammate can't pick it up. First persons are individualized in this game, where you each got to pick up your own power-up. Also in this game, you don't get a multiplier increase from first person. In DUA 2, your score multiplier would be bumped up by a total of 4. So right now, or let's say hypothetically, I had a 1-time score multiplier, I would be bumped up to a 5 in that game. In this game, you would stay at a 1 times. So I would say that's a pretty significant nerf in terms of the first-person perks that you get. But again, it's quite possible that changes in the future to be a bit more balanced. Also worth noting that you typically get a mini-map when you're first person, although it seems to glitch out sometimes for off-host players in co-op matches. Gonna go to the next arena, where we got a Underboss battle. They'll spawn up here usually. The guy we saw earlier in the wild, 6 arms in a hot tub, guy from Ancient Evil. Whenever you kill him, the round will end. Might be looking like a armor usage situation. He'll push you back with one of his attacks. Just gonna use a nuke here. Although it might be a while until I kill him, so it's quite possible I take a death here on purpose. So if you have firepower, you kill him a lot quicker than what I'm doing right now. Got a monkey bomb up here. That'll be helpful. There are some drop-off areas that you can utilize up there. I'll show you at the end of the round. Gonna die from this whirlwind or something. There is... You want to avoid this water usually. It says quarantine area. Okay. But again, I didn't want to use too much armory. This guy's getting pretty weak. I should be able to put some good damage into him with my ring. When you die, you want to use your invincibility ring as best as possible. You want to charge zombie spawns and help your teammates out on co-op. Ooh, I could have made that, but I'm going to use a boost. So I kill them, the round immediately ends afterwards. Nope, maybe not actually. Okay, now it's over. Collect this gold. So when you're up here, there's a few areas you could drop off in. If I can find them, one of them is right here. nice co-op strategy is you have 3 players like shooting this way, and one the feet player running down there. You could also drop off over here, although you'll usually end up in the water, which could be a bit toxic at times. You could drop off here on this little thing, and over here. Just make sure you don't land in those electric poles. Finally, a good drop to sort of protect me. I had a bit of I had to use the boost, drop down to 5 boosts, which is not optimal, but hopefully we'll get a little bonus from here, get replenished. So we got some difficult arenas coming up here shortly. And again, I have boxing gloves, but you got to be careful with these gladiators. Also, it's helpful to sometimes, you know, I have boxing gloves. I should have went down here to check the spawning area. Am I trapped again? What is happening here? Something must be up surely. And I almost died by a barrel. Always keep an eye out for item spawns if you can in the corner of your eye. Like, I'm gonna drop down here, look in the bottom left, seeing what's up there, if anything important. Maybe there's a free life I'm missing out on, so it's always good to be vigilant and sort of looking around the map and being aware of your surroundings, I would say. Monkey right here, that's always a nice little spawn. I could go all the way around, and instead I'm going to cut back, although maybe that's not going to work. There's some anticipation logic built into the monkey, I guess, for trying to cut me off. So I'm going to play a safe, go all the way around. A few people have asked me about the different fates in Dead Ops 3 and what they do exactly. It's worth noting that it's possible the fates change a bit over time as they did with DOA 2. But I explained the Furious Feet earlier into the this video, where you move faster and also 2 speed boosts at the start of a round if you have 2 or fewer at the previous round. The firepower, of course, you get a death machine. The zombie hit me very quickly, I gotta say.
Knock him out!
So you get a death machine with the firepower. Also, all weapons start as red skull weapons on your HUD. And also weapons will decay slower with firepower. So this ray gun I have, for instance, would last longer with firepower. Friendship, you have a chicken that follows you and imitates your primary weapon. Also, all chickens on the map last 50% longer. Or actually, twice as long. Excuse me. I'll get to the other fates here in a moment once I finish this round. Okay, check up here for gold. Sometimes I go through at the end of the round, just the gold takes a while to spawn at times, so I'm just trying to progress at a reasonable rate. Chicken Nest, similar bonus room as the UAT. We're just going to wait for the eggs to hatch. In the meantime, we'll finish the Fates. Friendship, lasts twice as long, I was saying the chickens. Fortune, you started a 2-time score multiplier after taking a death. Also, most item pickups last 40% longer with the Fortune. Divine Shield, you start with a shield item at the start of each round. So that's a barrel, that's a boxing glove, that's a saw blade, one of those 3 items, or even 2 of those 3 items. In addition to that, you start each round with 2 nukes if you're 2 or fewer. And I think there's something else that I fade I'm forgetting right now. I don't think so, though. I think that's all there is to it. 2 nukes at the start of each round if you're 2 or fewer. And, oh yeah, shield items last like 50% longer for you if you had Divine Shield. So again, boxing gloves, saw blades, boxing, barrels. Those 3 items. Barrels, boxing gloves, saw blades. 50% longer. So it is kind of like a poor man's version of Fortune to an extent, I would say. And the final new, that's a new fate, of course. And the 6th fate would be Divine Chalice, which is also a new fate. I'll explain that one here in a bit. I'm just trying to focus up as best as possible here. Not trying to take another death. So the Divine Chalice fate is a new one, of course. It'll make it to where it's mostly a co-op fate. It's pretty useless on solo. It'll make it to where you revive teammates 3 times as quicker, which is helpful. It'll make it to where you revive much quicker. Instead of 60 seconds to be brought up, it'll be 30 seconds. Pretty nice. Also, you'll notice when you take a death, there's a sort of a short respawn timer. 5 seconds normally. With the Chalice, it's 3 seconds, which isn't exactly helpful for solo. Solo, you want to be on the ground as long as possible. If you know, it's actually detrimental to an extent to be brought up quicker back into the action. And finally, you recover from damage quicker with Chalice, which is really the only benefit for solo if you have the Chalice. Is basically first person, you'll heal quicker. From fireballs, you'll heal quicker. For certain enemies in the Deadly Dungeon / the Wild that don't insta-kill you, you'll heal slightly quicker with the Chalice. Alright, so that arena was pretty sloppy, if I had to be frank. I stayed mostly at the bottom, which I think is typically the strategy you want to do. You want to avoid coming up here, you'll usually get trapped. But I really wasn't too pleased with the way that went right there, but not terrible. We'll continue on. So this arena, we got a challenge round called Electro Zombie Therapy, which is very similar to the challenge round called Fury Below Zero from Dead Ops Arcade 2, where basically there are zombies that place electro poles on the map. I believe these are Catalyst enemies from Black Ops 4, but might also be in this game, I'm not too sure. Got a vortex here in action, as you can see. They get sucked up into it and gems spew out. Also some snowmen on the map, as you can see, that sort of block your movement. Very winter-themed arena we got here. First person, I'll definitely take that. Send a quick text message in first person. Boom. Picked up a top hat. Or some call it good old Honest Abe. Basically, spawning clones of yourself, which tackle zombies with teddy bears at times, which seems counterproductive. Also boxing gloves they'll have sometimes, or other sort of shield items. As you can see, one of them is sort of glitched out there. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow, but now he's leaving me. So, real help right there. You gotta be careful. I think these electric zombies are able to one-hit you in first person. It's possible I'm wrong. I'm not gonna test it here, but I'm gonna assume that they do. I'll operate under that assumption. They'll also sometimes place poles inside the doorway, so just be conscious of that. Alright, nice. A bonus area, Silverback Slideways. Nice opportunity for me to get a couple lives back. If I could collect on them properly. I believe this is the one where I messed up last time and missed the key. So we're going to try to get that key, even if I miss a free life. I think it's more valuable. What a useless jump pad that was. Okay, I'm going to backtrack quickly. I think there might be a free life here. Definitely over here, free life. No, I died. If you die, again, you don't lose a life. Not the biggest deal. You just get reset to the beginning. Gives me an opportunity to maybe get this. Okay, fell again, so that didn't work clearly. I'm going to land on spikes or something. Alright, boom. Collect that free life. Very helpful. I'm going to try to speed run this. Maybe dying would be beneficial, actually. Alright, nuke. Perfect. I'm going to die quickly, actually. So I could get brought back to the beginning and maybe try again one last ditch effort to get this this key. Gonna be very difficult. I only have usually at 6 seconds it kicks you out. So really I have only 20 seconds at this point. So just gonna go quickly, messed up, whatever. I'll just try to progress naturally and see if I can find some other stuff. Alright, some treasure, that could be helpful. I'll hop in this first person. Nice little close-up of Frosty the Snowman over here. Right there, if I didn't exit right there, I was going to die. They were going to quad slap me. So I was very aware of that, got out of there. Probably shouldn't have been trapped to begin with, but you know, if you do get trapped, don't hesitate to exit and get your brief invincibility rings to sort of protect you. So right here, this is, I would say, a pretty fairly standard arena in terms of difficulty. You have a lot of room to maneuver. Just try not to run into the snowmen, which block your movement. Pick up this grandfather clock. Usually, they'll be able to kill you if they get too close. If they were slowed down, you could power through them quite easily, typically. Chicken egg on the map. I'll try to keep them away from that for the time being, but based on the spawns, it looks like it's going to be toast here in a second. Although they seem a bit distracted by something else, I'm not quite sure. And they'll actually stand still sometimes from a chicken egg after they kill it. Don't know why that happens, but that's a thing. You could drop weapons with X on Xbox or square on PlayStation, just like in DOA 2. I'm not a big fan of the explosive weapons because they make crawlers, but you know, some people might like them. Free life right there, which I didn't need. In DOA 2, if you had an extra life, or if you had 9 lives, and you earned an extra life, you would actually be given like some sort of reward, like a skeleton or a GI unit, which helped you out. On this game, nothing happens if you have 9 lives and you earn an extra one. You just keep going. As if nothing happened. Should be able to overpower my way through with the death machine. If you have a strong weapon like the death machine, briefly I had a red death machine there. Definitely try to shoot your way through gaps, or create a gap, as we call it. An area which you could slide by with your feet. The fate I'm using, of course, is the Furious Feet. DOA 2 is called Swift Like the Wind. On this game, the text appears as Furious Feet, but the announcer says you are swift like the wind. So I'm sure, surely there's no confusion to be had there. Got the final round of the arena with some nice unique lighting. That zombie almost killed me. Surprised he didn't. The equipment spawn rate is pretty low on this game, especially compared to the first 2 games. On DOA 2 it was very low on release, and then it was doubled over time. There's a possibility a similar thing happens on this game. You do get quite a bit of armory in certain bonus rooms and things like that, but as far as the regular rounds go, I would say it's quite rare to get items, equipment as items. That is nukes and speed boost. Also throughout the game they give you these little tips at the bottom. Hopefully there's a way to disable that in the future, because if you're on round 40 like myself here, whatever round I'm on, and I think like 32 actually, and you know, you don't really need those tips after a while. They just sort of block your vision. Item down here that I'm going to try to grab before it blinks away, called the Gem Umbrella. On the UA2 there was an umbrella which had skulls rain down from the sky. This game is gems. Simple enough. Gems are useful in this game because they'll give you points, but they don't really progress your multiplier all that high. Golden egg on the map. Again, I'm at 9 lives, not really worth protecting. If I was in desperate need of a life, I would definitely try to keep them away from mid and maybe even use a nuke to clear them before they destroy it. Here we are at the end of the round. I guess it hatched successfully. Very few zombies. So this arena is pretty unique, and we gotta, well, first we'll get through this underboss battle, the Blight father from Black Ops 4 maps 9 and Voyage to Despair. So this arena, you're gonna be slipping and sliding all over the place. It's an ice rink, so we got new enemies as well. These crawlers, just gonna blast a nuke. As soon as he dies, ooh, he seems a bit glitched. Okay. As soon as he dies, the round is over. Okay. I'm not really too concerned about dying there. I'll be able to use my shield on this Blight Father real quick. And I didn't want to use another piece of armor anyways, so. Got a strong weapon here. Should be able to finish him. So long as these crawlers don't trap me as they just did. Alright, now believe me, he's toast this time. But there's still a crawler, which I was not conscious of, so that's a tip you should keep in mind. These crawlers will still be around when the round is over. I thought the round was just going to instantly end. I guess that's a lesson learned for me as well. The good thing now is I got the number of the beast on my HUD. Bonus area, replenish my speed boost. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to leave a speed boost there. And boost down there. Very well. Open these chests. Use the key to unlock. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save the key. So these treasure and gems are going to be pretty helpful to get myself back up to a life. Or not. I also have the option to open this chest with a key, but not really worth it at this point. And the reason why I use a speed boost, of course, there was an extra one on the map, so just quickly cleared a guy with my speed boost and shield. So this map is difficult a bit sometimes with the movement, especially with the feet. You're slipping and sliding all over the place. So sometimes it's helpful to sort of give, if you're playing on a controller, give your analog some, you know, small nudges to make sure you're not moving out of control. Because it is very easy to end up launching yourself into an electric pole if you're not too careful, which I'm sure will happen to me at some point. I'm trapped here, going to use the speed boost. After using equipment and you have a brief invincibility ring, definitely use it to your advantage and clear off special enemies if possible, such as this Gladiator. I probably should have done that. I'm going to be trapped here again, seemingly. I escaped. I could have made it, but I wanted to be safe. Didn't want to drop the 5 lives there. So I'm just a little worried now about these Nova crawlers, because what happens is they can speed up the zombies, as I mentioned earlier when I was making my way up the volcano. Again, I keep trapping myself in that bottom right, so now my brain has to adjust. I need to say, okay, something's happening in that bottom right. Maybe I should avoid it. But what do you know? We're getting back here. Gonna slip and slide out of here. Nice little double back move. Gonna take it slow here and make a cut, which was very risky. And that's the end of the round here in a bit, hopefully. So this round hopefully is a bit better. Only one electric pole on the map unless more are placed during the round by those recurring enemies from the Electro Zombie Therapy Challenge. They also spawn out of the ground here, which is something I gotta just keep in mind as well because it's very atypical for a DUA game. So sometimes you'll sort of, a lot of concepts from regular zombies, first-person zombies applies to this game. You'll sort of nudge them one way and then go another, sort of lead them. It's a bit more difficult here with the anticipation logic that I mentioned earlier, but it's definitely a tactic you could employ. Here you'll see I'll bring them to the top, bottom right, sort of group them nice. I'll go up here. I'm running into a barrel apparently. You could say I'm doing figure eights on the ice rink. Control my pace here a bit. Getting a bit all over the place. So we have more electric pulse here, so this one is not going to be as smooth as the last. I might just go down to the 2 boost program, which I alluded to earlier, where you get 2 boosts a round. We'll see how this round goes. Oh, another thing about this round arena, actually, is that there's no item pickups other than weapons and gold. Kind of like the 2 arenas I was talking about earlier. The Die Rise looking one and Graveyard. So that definitely adds a difficulty component to it that might not maybe exist so much once it gets fixed or balanced. I'm not quite sure if it's a bug or intentional, but right now there's a Nova Crawler, which means he's going to leave a Nova Cloud, which makes zombies super fast, so I'm getting ready for that. Getting very ready for it whenever he dies. I'm going to bring him to the pool here, maybe. Almost hit that pool myself. I go slow here, maybe I have a gap. Don't have a gap, unfortunately. Loop this way. I saw the Electro pole was off, so I used it. I knew I could run through it. The poles will, of course, turn a different color when they're about to activate. These Nova Crawlers, see how fast they are? They make them. They're chasing me at supersonic speed. Ran him into the pool, luckily. Now I'm going to loop him this way and go back around as such. That's a common maneuver, which has a lot of variations. Again, going to bring him up here and loop back down. Avoid hitting that pool. They're going to be fast again. Look how fast they are. They spawn out the left. I need to quickly double back. I have no time to take them slowly and group them. I need to quickly get out of there. Or run this guy into a pool, maybe. He's almost dead. Be careful collecting treasure. You don't want to be hitting pools, obviously. So this next arena is not much easier. Meatball soup from DUA 2, very similar structure with obstacles in the middle. I could barely see anything on this round. You run into ground spawners. I might be taking a few deaths here. But first we got the challenge round. Spaghetti and fill in the blank. Meatballs. An enemy from DUA 2, of course. And Shadows of Evil. So I don't know what the strategy is for solo, actually. I never played this. Okay, well, that's not too surprising. I never played this round solo, so I don't know what exactly people do is the best strategy. I'm just sort of finding out on the fly here. I'm going to be using all my speed boosts at this current point. If you have the feet like me, you can maybe run them around as I'm doing a bit quite easily, maybe, or somewhat easily. It's also helpful to get some nice drops. Right now I'm not really getting anything that I'm liking too much. I'm gonna boost up here for these nukes real quick. Just because I wanted to do that at the end of the round anyways. And I was about to be trapped. Grab the nuke on the map. Very nice. Another boost. Right now I'm at a boost. Always be conscious of your armory. I have 9 nukes, so I have my finger on the nuke button. Gonna drop one because I think the round's almost over. I don't want to be taking a last minute death. Alright, could have been a bit smoother, I think. On co-op, you could usually camp in this corner here. 3 guys here, or even 4 guys here, or you could have 3 of them here, and 1 guy down there to sort of separate the pull of it. During the round, I boosted up here, a classic trick from DOA 2, because this is the same arena seen in DOA 2 mostly, with added obstacles. So basically what you do is you line yourself with the middle, you boost up there, usually there's, I think, either 2 or 3 nukes that you could collect on. So this arena, they spawn out of the ground and it's super tough to see. So hopefully I'm not dying like a noob a bunch of times. This area is pretty good for co-op. Obviously I gotta leave now. Gotta use the speed boost there. I can't get through that pool probably, so I'm gonna leave. And get trapped again. So use a boost. Be safe, but now I have no boost. This little area, this little obstacle in the bottom left you could actually run through. I'm gonna use that. I think I see a tank. That tank is gonna be very helpful if I could get to it. Oh, that's a gembrella, so I got trolled. And right here, I got stuck on a barrier that I didn't know was even there. And they're already spawning here, so another nuke is being depleted. This area here you can run over, use that to your advantage as much as possible. Crawler's just gonna drop the nuke and the round. Evidently, I need some tips and tricks for this arena on solo. Quite common to get stuck in ground spawns like that, which is a bit unfortunate. grab the mech, so that'll make things a bit easier. I should have used my speed boost earlier instead of my nuke, because I get 2 speed boosts around. I figured with the way that the previous round went that I was going to have to use my 2 speed boosts and a nuke, so I just used the nuke first. But perhaps that might not be the case since I've gotten a little better item luck this round with the vehicle here. Just got to be careful. Sometimes you could die leaving the vehicles, like I mentioned earlier with the current bug in the game. So I want to maybe avoid zombie spawns when I know it's about to expire. This one is about, I think, 40 seconds or so, maybe a little longer, so. Alright, it's over. Now I have 2 speed boosts. The round is going to be close to over, so first sign of possible danger, I'm going to be speed boosting. This area is kind of nice, especially for co-op. I'm getting ready to speed boost. It's over anyways. A funny little note is actually, I made a video in 2018 called Dead Ops Arcade 2 Origin of Arenas Part 1, where I sort of go over the DOA 2 arenas, and one of them was Maple Soup that I was talking about in that game. And I made a note of how it was too easy in DOA 2, and that they should have added obstacles in the middle to hinder your movement, which, funnily enough, is what happened here. Use a speed boost. Not messing around there. Gonna hit this clock and camp here for the time being, although I think they are spawning pretty close to me. I gotta be conscious of that. Also, meeples are recurrent enemies, so I gotta make sure I don't get trapped or blindsided by a meeple, rather. So I do think I'm getting the hang of this arena a bit better now, my first solo playthrough. Sticking on this left side and doing sort of cutbacks. Might get trapped there, gonna use the speed boost. I'm also trying to keep my eye on the right side of the screen for possible items that might be of help. I saw a gem. I'm not going to die over a gem in this game, but I might be here on my way anyway, so I'll collect on it. Might do some sort of loop back this way, although they spawned from the ground. Oop, almost killed me. Should be able to get by now. Arcade machine, beautiful. That should help out a bit. And also what the arcade machine will do is I won't get a Silverback Slideways at the end of this round because it's a teleport around, but likely what will happen is at the end of the following round, at the end of the first round of the following arena, I'll most likely get a Silverback Slideways, which will help replenish hopefully a couple lives. Just in time, fellas. Uh-oh. I can't enter the teleporter? Okay, I was about to, I was about to say, what's going on there? Like, is my game bugged? Now we got a challenge round. Spectral Hounds of the Dark Wood. I wasn't even looking at these guys. Wow, that was unexpected. I was too busy, like, trying to read the text or something. These guys will kill you one hit. The dogs, they're from Blood of the Dead and Black Ops 4. Fortunate that I wasn't paying attention. Needs a speed boost. A vortex. Use another speed boost. I was getting crap by those dogs real quick. Collect on these gems. Drop a nuke. Way too many dogs for my liking. First person, this will be perfect. And wait a second. Sometimes it's good to wait a few seconds on drops if you think you're safe. Just to sort of prolong the round, since the rounds are time-based primarily. Boss battle, perfect. I have a death machine for this bastard. Never mind, now I picked up a China Lake. Underboss battle after mid-round, which is the first. Monkey Bomb gonna hit this real quick. This guy's gonna keep regenerating health and probably take a while to kill. Which is a bit unfortunate, but the way it goes sometimes. I'll just wait for a good item, maybe. Zombie spawns have seemingly stopped. You can never trust it in this game. I kill him before he regens, as such. So if my theory is correct, we're going to have a Silverback Slideways here, since we got the power up at the end of the Meeple Super Arena. And I guess I was correct.
Silverback Slideways.
I don't know where all the free lives are located here, so I guess that's a bit of an issue, but hopefully I run into a couple. I think I see a nuke up there, which will be helpful. Damn it. I wasted this thing for the time being. Nuke up there, we're going to try to get. Okay, good. I'll look for this free life now. And not get up here. Odd. A bit unfortunate that I couldn't find a free life. I mean, I'll die quickly, maybe brought to the start and find one quick. We'll see. No, nothing. So here we have the Meeple. And again, I was avoiding the arcade machine pickup for the first few days of the game's release because there was a bug with it. So only recently have I started playing it and sort of checking it out. So I don't know the ins and outs of it too much, that particular challenge. But a lot of people have been messaging me for sort of tips and tricks and playthroughs, so we're rushing out this video. Even though, you know, it might be better to maybe hold off a bit than understand all the nooks and crannies of the game. But people want what they want, I guess. Zombie standing still because of a chicken egg that I believe was on the map. Mini map on first person, keep that in mind. Always good to see, sometimes look in the corner, see where they're spawning. You could go up and down these things usually pretty easily, barring some invisible barriers. Got a meeple on the map, we don't want that to kill us in first person. Gonna exit and run into it with our shield to quickly eliminate it. Got a speed boost left on the 2 boost program here with the Furious Feet. Gonna make sure we use that before we die. Also, these shadow boogies could become crawlers on this game. They use the boost a little too close for my comfort there. Crawler here, nice. Gonna drop the bomb. Round's over. Max ammo, of course, brings your gun up a level. Got axed by the Gladiator. I was hoping I would be able to shoot him maybe and prevent him from it. Didn't quite work out as envisioned. That pole looks a little too close to the wall, unfortunately. And I'm trapped again. Gotta use the speed boost. Sometimes electric poles will spawn really close to the sort of edges of the map to where you can't ride along it. As such. I'll run for that first person. Stand over this upgrade teleport. I thought the round was over, so I'm gonna exit, just be safe. It should be close to being over. Going to the final round of this arena. And here we have another Sideways. So I went to the top and got a nuke last time. This time I'm going to check at the bottom. Maybe we got a couple of free lives I could sniff out here. There's one. Okay, so the bottom path will have a free life pretty early on. Keep that in mind. I'm going to go for this. I think maybe something here. I'm going to take a quick look. A little peek I'm going to take. Guess there's nothing there. Okay, well, whatever. We'll go along. Get some of this treasure. And I hit the flame. Crouch here. Maybe I don't die. Yep. Crouch by those. Thinking I should go here. I wonder what's down here. Oh, that's one thing. Probably a flogger or something. Or lava to kill me. That's another alternative. I quickly try to get this nuke that should be here somewhere. I think I have time for it if I rush. Nope, not gonna make it. So we got one free life out of it. Not terrible. Could have been better, most likely. Gonna camp here in the boxing gloves, grab them. Again, be conscious of enemies like meatballs or gladiators. Some gold down there I'm gonna collect on. So the thing about keys on solo that I just remembered as well is if you run out of lives, you could trade in your keys for extra lives. And you'll want to trade them all in at once, because I think there's a glitch where if you trade only one, like it takes all of them anyways or something, so. There's a Spectral Hound of the undead right there. I didn't know if he was going to one-hit me, so I kind of just played it safe. I was trapped anyways, more or less. I use the speed boost. I'm not trying to get stuck there for the umpteenth time of the arena. Tank right there. I'm going to use these electric, or I'll just hop in it actually. Sometimes you get a little too cute where you try maximizing drops. You'll say, I'll use all my electric orbs before I hop in the tank. And then something happens, like a meatball lands on you. So sometimes it's worth it to optimize, but at the same time you need to, in a situation like this, I'm not looking to waste any lives. And I died leaving a vehicle. I probably should have been a bit more careful with the barrel on the map and things like that. But very unfortunate death right there. So what happens is when you leave the vehicle, there's probably a brief moment of vulnerability. DUA2 had the same bug, eventually was fixed. Seems to be something going on. Something going on in the code worth looking into. So we got a challenge round called Dead Drop, very similar to the challenge rounds called Downpour and More Downpour in DOA 1 and 2 respectively. Except this time there'll be wardens spawning in as the slow, tanky zombies, much more tanky than the previous two downpours in previous games. I use my barrels there, my advantage. Speed boost right there. Some funny business about to go down. Right here you could actually drop off this ledge, and I'm stuck for some reason. Maybe because they're coming up the ledge. As such, I dropped right there. They won't start running at you until you shoot them and trigger them, so sometimes it's helpful to leave the wardens as they are. Right there, I hit that gap, and they sort of anticipated that move and tried cutting me off, if you could tell. Coat of arms. Basically turns the zombies into friendly AIs. Drop from Dead Ops Arcade 2. So I could come up here, but it's a little risky for the biscuit type business going on. You could drop off here though, which is helpful. I'll show those drop off areas a bit more closer. Ooh, I thought I could make it a field goal between the poles. Clearly couldn't. Probably should have just used a speed boost since the round's over. So over here is a good camping area for co-op. You can't drop off over here though, although you could drop off on this ledge, like that. Also you could drop off here on this side. And over here you could drop off. One final note I'll make of up here. So you'll want to avoid this area typically. And if you fall off here, you actually can't go back up this way. You need to drop off all the way. But down here in this area is a good area to run in for solo with the feet. So there we got a mech vehicle. I'll have to cross my fingers and hope I don't die while leaving it. As you can see, I did a couple loops before I hopped in there. No reason to immediately hop in the vehicle. It's not going to magically disappear. There is a timer, obviously, for items, but it is pretty generous, usually around 25 seconds before an item blinks out. But this canoe here, of course, stops your movement. And right now I'm just totally stuck and probably going to die from these meeples if my vehicle expired just now. Barrel, I'm getting flashbacks. I need to get out of here ASAP. I live to see another day apparently when it comes to the vehicle. Alright, so we got a vortex in the top left. I'm gonna hit that here in a bit. Not gonna die for it though. zombies are cracked out. Chicken egg, not really worth protecting. Usually doesn't have anything too good in it. Gonna collect on these gems though, and I'm trapped, so I'm gonna use a boost. Make one final pass for these gold. Use another boost. I didn't like the way that guy was curling on me. So really, at this point in the game, I should be able to be 9 lives, 7 nukes, 7 boost. Although, again, this is my first time playing solo on this game at this level, so there are some silly mistakes that I'm making that I would, you know, let's say avoid the following playthrough or the one after. So we'll see what happens. I'm having some fun, sharing some decent tips, hopefully. So I envision I'll be uploading this RIP, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll end up recording another one and trying to do a little bit better at certain times. Alright, this certainly helps. Right now I don't have any free equipment to burn, so I'm just going to take my time shooting these elites. Keep my distance. They'll break apart like that. There'll be one more that attacks me. And a good tip is to use this as cover right here. These guys are usually pretty weak once it breaks apart. So we're going to open some stuff down here. Just make sure you don't open a chest requiring a key, such as this one. You would get the foul 5-piece achievement if you grab these. And we're good to go. Gonna make sure I zoom out my camera. Remember that camera gets reset when you leave a bonus room. In previous games solo, you could only play on the zoomed in version sort of thing, like the mid zoom that I was just in at the very start of the round. On this game, for the first time solo, it could be zoomed all the way out, which is helpful. Maybe a bit too OP at times, but for now, it's helpful. So wait a second, grab this first person. Usually the hitbox for the first person item itself is pretty generous. You could be kind of far away and still hop in it. So if you say like, oh, I might die trying to get that first person, should I go for it? Sometimes it's worth just to try go for it because it'll, you know, throw you into first person pretty generously. We got an item pickup here, gotta make sure we don't get... Okay, we got a speed boost, nice. No spiders. So right now I have a good weapon, I'm just gonna drop it because it's super loud in first person. I mean, this probably is loud as it is, but when it's a red or purple RPD, I'm really competing probably for your earlobes. Alright, we got a mech here. Sometimes there might be some decent items at the top, but you can't see the whole map, so at this point, I'm just foregoing those items. I'm not really going to die to see what might be up there. After all, it could be something very useless, but maybe it's something useful as well. Maybe it's a free life blinking away. There's no way of telling, I guess. I guess I can make my way with the mech maybe, but I'm just trying to keep my distance right now with these vehicles. I'm not trying to have the bug happen to me where I die while leaving it, which could possibly happen. I have a lot of special enemies next to me. Okay. Made my way out of there. Gonna tackle the meeple and fall off real quick. Run a little... They're gonna cut me off there, huh? Whoa, that's... Okay. I boosted into the air and it just reset me back to the bottom. Right there, I might have lived without using a speed boost because I got the electric orbs. But I'm not 100% sure how these orbs work in this game. Seemingly they killed them all, so I guess they're pretty safe. But they do seem to vary from game to game. So in a situation like that, I wasn't trying to, you know, see what happens where like a couple of zombies somehow survived the electric orb. But seemingly I might have been able to make it just fine. I'm gonna make my way up here, almost the end of the round. It looks like might be some sort of drop I'm missing out on. Again, this is a nice camping spot for co-op. A barrel coming here, so I'm gonna play it safe. Sort of keep an eye out for drops. I think I see some silver down here. Never mind, some flowers I saw. Also, if you try jumping on this canoe, it's sort of just like, I'll show you here in a second. Or just like, I didn't get a good jump. Let's get rid of this barrel guy. Sort of starting to piss me off a bit. If you jump on the barrel, it'll just, or a canoe, it'll sort of just bounce you back, so try to avoid doing that because it could bounce you back into the horde or something like that. But I exit first person, collect this gold with my ring that I get from exiting. I stayed a little bit too long on that side of the map, ended up getting trapped trying to stand next to the vortex. I'm gonna go up here quickly to take a look at what's happening. Got some treasure I'll collect on. These dogs will hit you in one person in the current build of the game. Might change in the future, but just something to keep in mind. Rocket box drop from Dead Ops Arcade 2. Shoots rockets in the air. Kind of like a SAM turret of sorts. I use a boost here. Probably go back down to the 2 boost program to be safe. Sometimes when you have the feet, you don't always have to be running at full speed. Sometimes it's helpful just to take it easy, have them nice and hoarded. I'm going to go up here, probably utilize a drop-off option like that. Grab this teddy bear since it's pretty useful on this game. I'm thinking, where do I want to go? They're coming out of a lot of areas. I'm going to push forward my teddy bear, utilize that drop. Looks like a pole was placed here. It's currently grayed out, so less experienced players might run into that. Now it has color. It was placed there by that Electro zombie therapy enemy. Looking at a speed boost here. Since I'm pretty low in speed boost, I might just end up using all of them this round for the sake of it. Although I could probably get by quite. Pull them this way, go back down this way, manipulate the way that they come down that drop, up and down the drop-off area. Alright, so that's the end of the arena. Nice little visual flair to it as well with the purple water. Probably don't want to drink from it, but nice look to it. So now we got Mamaback's house arena. Interesting elements on the map, such as a lawnmower, which will kill you, both you and the zombies. So right now I'm waiting for it to go. I might, you know, run some zombies by it for the sake of, so you guys can see. Oh, those deciding that. Okay, now it's activating. Another one down here, so keep that in mind. First person drop here. Grab that. Nice little close-up view of this lawnmower. I think I see a gold egg on the map. Yep, gonna keep them on this way, on this side of the map. Avoid away from the egg as much as possible. Gonna exit and protect this egg with my shield. There we go. Should be hatching at any moment. There it is. So this room is pretty roomy to run in for solo, with the feet especially. There's an escape route you could take here with the surfboard. Nice camping area where I'm at right now. They'll only come from in front of you. So I'm going to chill here for a second, try to burn some time. Sometimes a ghost will spawn on me, so I got to be careful for that. But right now it's looking like I'm going to have to use a boost to get out of here. Although they seem a bit confused right now with what I'm doing. But not going to get too cocky. Get a boost. Get out of there. And again, there's a nice little area you could go here. Take this. So first person drop, I might just end up using my boost to get it, since I have one boost left that I could use with the feet. And then that first person should take me through the end of the round. So I'm going to boost toward it. There we go. So this is actually the screen where when you game over, it's on this screen. And the Mamaback will be up there. There's also spring pads here I've seen in some earlier challenges. You can take them and be launched. I'm not going to do that right now. There's not really any point to it. But maybe I'll demonstrate it at some point. So meeple here. Gotta be careful with them. Gotta take this little lip here in to get back in. Be careful for the lawnmower. Swing them into the poles and go for that boxing glove. When you grab the boxing glove, you should already anticipate and get ready to start spinning to protect yourself. I'm gonna look around, maybe there's some items of note. Okay, some treasure. The zombies are even being flung by that spring. Over here we have an arcade machine. It's gonna be very handy when I pick it up. Gotta make sure I pick it up. Use a boost. Right here's the top hat, as I picked it up earlier, a few arenas ago. Again, you'll have guys who spawn in with random items, random shield items. Seems like they evaporated pretty quickly. If you see a red marker like that above me and nothing spawns in for a couple of seconds, it seems like it's most likely going to be a meatball at that point. So just keep that in mind. Anticipate that a meatball is going to be on the map shortly afterwards. You could drop off this ledge here. Just going to chill here for a bit. You can't go back into the lawn area from this point unless I go forward, push forward into that sort of hidden entranceway, let's call it. Broken fence. Swing the zombies here, confuse them a bit, but I got a speed boost that I'm ready to use like that. Gonna look for some treasure on the map. Make sure I don't get run over by the lawnmower. Alright, looks like there's nothing really going on. Usually they'll spawn treasure about 10 to 20 seconds after a round ends sometimes on this game, but not really worth waiting for at this point. So since I had the arcade machine, it looks like I'm gonna have a Silverback Slideways here. Free man right below me, I'm gonna grab that. Make sure I get through this flogger before I die. Not trying to wait for that flogger. Uh-oh, let's go between those fireballs. Okay, that worked out quite well. Fireball damage, okay. Respectable. So gonna try to progress a little further, look for a nuke. I think the nuke would be helpful at this point. Even more so than a free life since I'm at 8. I'm one fireball hit away from dying, so could be quickly reset to the back here. Unfortunately, miss out on the nuke, but we'll just go to the end. That's just fine. See a chopper over here. Wait as long as possible. They're all gonna flip. They're not gonna come through this area. Although they seem confused when I go over here. I'm just gonna hop in this chopper. Again, the navigation with these vehicles is a bit clunky at times. Gotta make sure the glitch doesn't happen either where I die. Try to avoid that as best as possible. Probably should have exited for that first person item. But I think I'll just chill in this chopper for the time being. Go up this little area right here. Being flung. Speed boosts. I have 2 speed boosts at this point. Perfect. First person item. Collect all his gold real quick. Mamaback's house. Nice lawn she has. Gonna check this corner real quick for items. Nothing there. Okay, we'll get out of here. There's a spawn right by me, as you can see. Boxing gloves. Wait a second. Wrap them. And spin. Pole is being placed there, as you can tell. I drop this ray gun. I'm not too big a fan of it, the way it's shooting these meatballs. Meatballs seem to be stuck there as well, so we'll loop around. I got flung. First person I'm going to miss out on. These meeples are still chasing me. I'll loop around here, use these electric orbs. See, one of them still survived. And then I guess I was so concerned with him that I didn't see the other guy. Could go quite far into that side there on the fence without getting stuck, surprisingly. Really, I should have used my boost since I have them at this point, but could afford to take a death there. Again, a lot of people, they ask me for tips, and it's just, at the end of the day, I always tell them it comes down to practicing. Practice makes perfect, right? I know it's a cliche, but at the end of the day, you can watch me play, you can watch other people play, it'll help. Your brain will recognize patterns that the players are performing, but at the end of the day, if you can't apply those things yourself, it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, you need to get that practice in. You need to learn. You need to see what you could get away with. You need to learn how to manage your equipment. And that takes time. It's not something that could happen overnight. So we got a new arena here, a nice bear rug and a throne. I guess this arena is called the throne room. These fireballs, of course, are a bit of an issue. They're getting stuck at the end of the bridge, which is helpful. I'll get out of here now. And make my way over here. I use the speed boost and grab this mech. Hopefully I'm full underneath the bridge with it. There is, I think, a glitch where your game could end if you fall underneath, potentially. Also, this little area you could go to, although most players don't go here since this dragon's breathing fire. They'll usually just avoid it. Uh-oh. Actually, now that I think about it, I should avoid it myself. I'm not trying to get blasted by fire as my vehicle's expiring. So we'll sort of keep our distance here. This is a pretty good area to run in, usually. Although you probably have to switch off between upstairs and downstairs. Definitely, if you're playing solo, utilize the whole map. On co-op, the bottom left area by those bridges, very reminiscent of Chinatown in DOA 2. I would recommend camping there. If you have a co-op match. You could even camp there with all 4 players, quite frankly, if you're coordinated. All four players dug into that corner. You might have to use some armor here and there, but mostly you could get away with it. I got stuck there. Wasn't expecting to get stuck. A lot of it, even myself right now, learning the nooks and crannies of all the different areas. Where a map ends and where it begins, sort of thing. You also gotta make sure at the end of the round that you don't die by these fireballs, so take your time collecting gold and get out of the round. Also quite roomy over here by the throne itself. Fireballs coming out of this bear rug. Amongst other areas. I don't know if that fire hits me. Seemingly it did, possibly. I was a little hesitant there because frankly I haven't been through here, and I think the one time I have, I felt like I didn't die by the fire, so right there I was a little unsure, but I guess, you know, be careful. And again, if you get hit by one of these fireballs, as I have, my HUD is red right now, I'll slowly recover. But if another one hits me right now, I'll unfortunately take a death. And I got stuck on the chair, silly mistake, just from inexperience of running in this particular spot. I should have went this way rather than to the side of the chair. Boost real quick, clear out this Gladiator. There's a warden up here, I'm gonna shoot him. Looks like the round's near over. Maybe a few more spawns. There might be some good stuff I'm missing out on down there, but I'll just chill up here for the time being. Looks like nothing else, I'll just go through. Some sort of bonus room you could tell by how long the black screen is between rounds.
Silverback Slideways.
I missed out on that, that's fine. Key up there. I keep missing out on. I'll quickly die and try to get back to the top. Only got 20 seconds though. Okay, should be good. Got a key. Get out of here. Okay, zoom out my camera. We're getting close to the end, fellas. I can tell you I'm getting a little bit hungry, but speed boost. And a nice meatball there. Yeah, we'll use another speed boost. There's a pole blocking the bridge, as you can see below me, which is quite unfortunate. Probably going to take a death if I get trapped. Not really trying to use armory. My 5 nukes would only, since I already have 9 lives. That pole being off, I need to get by before it turns on, and I did. Okay, very well. This pole is really close. Somehow made it. Got a tank. Beautiful. Also, haven't gotten the Kaboom nuke room from earlier. Might have been a helpful situation in my case when I was running low on nukes. And probably for some of you, a bonus room like that, sometimes it's luck dependent. Like it might bail you out, you know. I'm waiting for this pole to turn off. I can get by it, fortunately. Cut a gap there through the poles, they roll off. I think there's a good drop I missed out on, like a boxing gloves or something. Not 100%. Meeple up here, so now I'm going to make my way down. I want no business with this meeple at the moment. Meeples are a bit different than DOA 2 insofar as they could seemingly get closer to you without killing you. But they are tankier, I would say, where they are more difficult to kill. And they'll sort of have a momentum type ability at times where they lock on you and go for you at times. But I guess even DOA 2 was like that at times if any of you have played that. Right, gonna make my way out of here. First person drop, same concept applies. Gonna wait on it a bit, hop in it. I see a Nova Crawler. Quite a nice arena, I would say. Looking pretty swell. Here's a look at the bear rug. A lot of neon type lights. 1980s Cold War setting. Right there, I exited, I got hit, and I saw another first person. So instead of just running into it and grabbing a duplicate item, I'm going to exit, get a shield, grab this, and now I have another shield at the start of first person. So it's just a way of maximizing your first person's burning time, getting extra kills. Definitely a method you should employ if you see additional first person. So right here I picked up the gem umbrella, which is why there were some gems up here. Also a pole guy that I saw in first person earlier. I didn't quite kill him in time, so he placed he placed one pole. Can't seem to hop on that teleporter upgrade system, so gonna have to go around. So I'm actually going to have the wild after this round, so I'm going to save my speed boost because I don't think my speed boost will be replenished when I enter it. I'll use one, even though it probably wasn't too necessary. Alright, we'll make our way to the wild. So while the teleporter's on 36, starting first person all the time, it's like Apocalypse now. Get ready to Nova Crawler spawn. Exit first person, run into these guys with my shield, change my camera. So while the ones at 36 get glitched out and 20, this one you will hit even if you do the round 5 shortcut. Got a key right there. Could also use these barrels to run into the elite up ahead. Almost ran into a spike. I wonder if I have invulnerability or something. Look at this guy glitching up there. If I have a red gun, I'm going to use the... maybe not actually. Go back down here. Gonna wrap around now with the first person. What we got here? First person, I'll exit, re-enter it. Got some bats from Dead of the Night. I think I'll just go buy them real quick. So I'll open this chest first. Keep falling off collecting this gold. Alright, go up ahead here. Should be able to kill this guy with my stuff. Oh, see if any equipment. Yeah, killed him with my shield items. These bats seem pretty useless, to be honest. I'm gonna exit this. Go with my shield, grab another first person. Grab another one. Just exploit these first persons to your advantage. You'll actually get concussed even though I'm invincible technically. Exit that quickly, finish him off. Usually some equipment out here. Just gotta be careful. I'll just go through. Looks like I'm safe. These crawlers might be a pain. Gonna boost actually. Get rid of them real quick. That didn't quite work as envisioned. Gotta take a death here, it looks like. I'll regroup for a moment. Gonna push real quick and finish them off. As such. Wait for any spikes to finish. I don't know what's here exactly. Some sort of equipment. Speed boost, okay. And nukes. That could be helpful. There's another sort of area to this where you could get a free life and things like that, but I don't really need it right now, so I'm going to go through to this. Just a boss fight. You can't exit first person here, actually. Unless maybe I could... Got a skeleton. Big skeleton. Just sort of take your time, make sure you're getting hit markers. Let it shoot and then wrap around it. Okay, I died anyways. I have a shield, I can sort of stick on it for a bit. I'll get out of here. Run into this warden real quick. There's sometimes a free man up there where I was just looking, but I'm just gonna leave. Open these, see what we have. Good to go.
What? So soon? How dare you leave us?
Alright, now we got the Margo Underboss. He was an Underboss on Jungle on DUA 2, and he killed me quite quickly there. I seem to be like permaslowed or something. Whatever, I'll just go on my shield and finish him off here.
Raise your feet. It's time to go.
I don't know if that arcade machine registered. Looks like it did.
Bonus area. Silverback Slideways.
Okay, I fell for that trick again. Got a couple of free lives and earned my own. Very nice. I'm gonna look for a nuke real quick. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, that's about that. Round 62, here we go. Couple more rounds. Sometimes it's good to juke them a bit like this and sort of confuse them with the anticipation logic. If they're going to anticipate, you need to counter them somehow. If they're going to be super fast, I'm just going to speed boost. Right there, that guy killed me pretty quickly. I mean, in previous games you wrap around them without issue. This one, he's almost ready just to smack you. First person, gonna grab that. Grabbing a vehicle like that will actually exit you out of first person. I'll exit myself. I thought it was the end of the round. I think it is. Right there, I knew it was the end, so I just boosted through them. Right there, they were just super fast. I should have just boosted it. Silly move. But again, it's a silly feature. Vortex up there. A boost here, make sure I get out of this. People on the map. Pretty close to earning a life. Other meatball. Use this thing. Hop in first person. Well, the meeple should be cleared. Barrel zombie. Clear him as well. Couple gems. Very well. Might be trapped here. Got out. And a nuke. Keep an eye on the minimap. See where they're spawning. It hit a pull in first person, I'm pretty sure, at least on regular rounds, maybe not the wild. Exit there. And there we have another first person. They could also sometimes spawn from the ground on quite a few of these arenas where you wouldn't expect it to happen. So I'm using the side of my boxing gloves. I'm not going to spin in first person unless I want to be nauseous. Got a speed boost there to make sure I speed boost for it before it blinks away. And I missed it somehow. Beautiful. Alright, that's the round. Time to go. So kind of like the first DUA, the 64, the boss round will actually be a normal round, and then the boss will appear later in it. Whereas in DUA 2, it appeared immediately on the final round. So, a bit different. Bull is good, very well. Grab this first person. Might also be inclined to save my armory for the boss, some of it, rather than using two speed boosts, because they're not going to be replenished for the boss fight. Also, if you're going for the pristine pelt Dark Ops Colon Core challenge, where you beat 64 without dying, it's the boss round itself once the text appears, whatever it is, like Mamaback in a few minutes. You could die in this regular round and still get it. So a good strategy sometimes is to save your armory for the boss round and then just spam it. Or have your teammates spam armory if they already have the challenge and make a conscious effort to protect you. I was thinking about doing just a pure gameplay guide like I did with the previous two. But I figured this time around add some commentary, maybe spice it up a bit. Maybe it also serves as a tips and tricks while also being gameplay. So hopefully if anyone's still listening at this point, they've found it helpful. Also, of course, timestamps to skip around. Got two Nova Crawlers on the map. Gonna take the death there. Ooh, I didn't see that zombie. He nearly took me out. So the boss round should be coming up here at any moment. Sometimes it's helpful to maybe hold a weapon if you think it's coming close. Keep an item there. RPD, let me grab that. Here we go. Should be the end. Soon. Someone's hiding. Here he is, running me to the full. Alright, now we got the boss fight. At this point, if you're doing the Pristine Ops Challenge, Pristine Pelt Challenge, you gotta make sure you don't die from this point on. Monkey has some attacks like that one, boosting, as I was gonna just say. I get this ray gun blasted, do some decent damage. They'll boost up jetpack like that. Drop a nuke there. You outrun it pretty well with the feet until it does a super fast animation like that. Seems like the monkey also takes gems at times. A lot of speed boost attacks right there. Usually in a co-op it goes down much easier with the added firepower. Throw some monkey banana bombs like the UA2. I already had the Pristine Pelt Challenge, I'm not too concerned about doing that. The drop a bomb is getting very... Boss was very fast there for a second. Not really getting too many good drops here. Up another bomb. Boost attack, I haven't seen it too often. It's kind of interesting. Almost like an anticipation logic to it. When you go super sprint mode, you gotta be careful like that. Very, very quick movement from Mamaback there. Just basic loops around. You also gotta be conscious of the zombies. Make sure you're still playing good fundamental play. Get that double back here, which almost cost me. Banana bombs will slow you down if you walk over them, at least on the UA2. I imagine it's the same principle here. Has their own boss music as well. Ooh, I didn't see the third pull. I was too busy with the first two. Seems like the drops are very limited on the boss round. Haven't seen a first person, many vehicles, anything like that. Oh, the health bar is getting pretty low there. Nice little cutback. Should be gone here in a second. Mamaback is getting desperate, throwing banana bombs. Alright, so now you just collect on some gems. Mamaback defeated. At this point you get the Reunited with Fidolina achievement / trophy, worth 15 gamer score on Xbox and bronze on PlayStation. A very similar ending to the UA2. I'll show the cutscene. Nice pull on the teleporter. Mamaback confirmed. So basically the game loops over with longer rounds, faster enemies, stronger zombies, and also some more special enemies thrown into the mix, like elite zombies that appeared in some of the challenges, Nosferatus, etc. So a lot more special enemy spam you'll see. And, you know, the rounds continue more or less, but the game isn't technically over at 64, if that makes any sense. It keeps going, and people still play at a high level. But anyways, that about wraps up this playthrough. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Leave a like if it was, and thanks for watching.